In today's DIY video, Best Tumbling Tower Block Christmas Decor DIY, Dollar Tree Rustic Jenga Block Gift Boxes, we are making 3 different stunning rustic and farmhouse tumbling tower block gift boxes. These decor boxes are absolutely perfect for Christmas and holiday decorating. Quick, easy, and fun. These holiday decor gift boxes will make your home sing with holiday spirit. You don't want to miss this. To begin with, I am using the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, as well as the super glue wood glue that's also from Dollar Tree. I'm making 3 versions of the same box, and each box begins with groups of 3 blocks that are glued side by side. There are 5 walls in each box, and each wall is made of 4 groups of those 3 blocks. 2 of the 5 walls are going to be slightly larger, so 3 walls have 4 groups of 3 blocks, and 2 walls have the 4 groups of 3 blocks, along with 2 additional blocks glued end to end in the middle of them. I know it sounds complicated, but I promise you it's so not. Just know that each box will need us to make 20 of these groups of 3 blocks. If you want to do the math, each of these boxes will use approximately 84 to 86 Jenga blocks, so you will need more than 3 boxes of the 72 block pack of Jenga blocks if you are making 3 of the boxes like I am. So for the first box, I have my 5 sets of 4 of the 3 block sets, and I'm going to glue 2 sets of additional 2 blocks glued end to end the long way, like you see me doing here. These are for my 2 larger walls. So the first of the 2 larger walls is using 4 of these squares that I've made, the squares made out of 3 blocks, with that 2 block set right in the middle of the set of 4 squares. I glue those 4 squares and the 2 blocks set together, as you can see me doing that here, and then I'm going to repeat that process for the second larger wall. The last 3 box walls are a lot simpler because we're using 4 of the 3 block squares and we're simply gluing those 4 squares together. I make the walls of my second and for my third box exactly the same as my first box that we just did, and I'm just speeding up this video so you can watch that process just one more time. Off camera, I made another set of 5 walls, but you don't need to see that again. Now we're going to assemble the walls of the box, and I start with 2 smaller walls glued at the edge, like you see here, and then the third smaller wall is glued opposite that first one on the edge. Then we are using those 2 larger walls that we built, which happen to fit perfectly in the 2 open spaces on either end. This is the main part of the box assembly. It has no bottom because we don't need one. It's just a top and 4 sides. We are then assembling a second and then a third box the exact same way as we did the first one. For all 3 of the boxes, I want to make a ribbon trim, but the ribbon is, of course, made out of more blocks. So the first thing we do is to grab 8 blocks, and we are cutting each one of them at a 45-degree angle. I'm using my miter shears to do this. I will link the shears below in the description box for you. Sometimes these shears cut Jenga blocks easily, and sometimes it's just a struggle from start to finish, and you can use a lot of your hand strength to do so. You could also use a miter's box and a mini saw to cut these at an angle. If that's what you have, that'll work fine too. I'm not going to glue my wood ribbon onto the box until all of my pieces have been painted, but I do want to assemble the ribbon. So we take those 8 angled blocks that we cut and glue 2 together for each of the 4 sides of the box. And some of those sets gave me more trouble to attach than others. And some I used some painter's tape to help hold them together while they dried, and some of them just stayed together on their own. You do whatever works for you. There's no rules. Then we're going to let those 4 sets fully dry before we continue on. Then I do that process again 2 more times for the second and the third box. Our wood ribbon is going to have to intersect somehow in the middle of the box. I figured the easiest way to do that is to attach one set of these ribbon pieces completely together, and the other would stop in the middle at the intersection. Hopefully that made sense to you, but you can see what I'm talking about as you watch what I'm doing. I take another block and mark with a pencil where I need to straight cut that block to fit perfectly between the 2 angled sets, and I use the miter shears to cut straight across that block at that pencil marking. I need to cut smaller pieces of Jenga blocks for both of the remaining ends so that they will meet up in the middle where the first piece that we just cut and glued intersects with it. I mark those 2 end pieces with a pencil and use my miter shears to straight cut those 2 smaller pieces. Then I repeat the process on the second and the third box, gluing together the ribbon pieces so that they will meet up at the intersection in the middle. Once the intersection pieces are assembled, they all need to be made longer. So I glue additional Jenga blocks to the bottoms of all of my pieces until they reach the bottom of the box. And I trim blocks with my miter shears whenever it's necessary until all the ribbon sides are the same length. Then I wait for all of those ribbon pieces to fully dry, and that's for all 3 of my boxes. Once the first gift box is dry, I decided to paint it with Folk Art Home Decor Antique Wax, which I will link for you below. I wanted to get a stain-like finish, and this stuff will dry really quickly, and it lets a lot of the natural wood grain show through. I brush it on with the grain as much as possible, and then use a dry paper towel to wipe off the excess. I did paint the inside of the box just in case someone wanted to use this as a holder or something else more functional other than just decor. But you don't need to paint the inside if you're using this as a decor piece only. For my faux ribbon that's made out of wood, I wanted it to contrast with the brown gift box, so I'm using a mix of plain water and Folk Art Home Decor white chalk paint. I will link it for you below. And I paint the top and the 2 exposed sides of all of the ribbon with the paint and water mixture. This gives it a nice whitewash look, but it has plenty of the wood grain still coming through. Once my brown box is dry, I wanted to give it more of a distressed rustic look. So initially I used some lighter color chalk paint on one of the sides, but I decided it was too stark a contrast. So I changed gears, and instead I used some apple barrel acrylic paint in the color khaki. I'm using a dry, rough brush and very sparingly just brushing a little bit of color over the box walls, and I'm paying attention to all of those corners and the edges of the box and all the places that would naturally look distressed and beat up over time. Those are the areas that I want to concentrate on. Then I do the same kind of distressing on the contrasting ribbon from my brown box. It's whitewashed, so I'm going to use the antique wax and a smaller, rough bristled dry brush and do the same thing as I did with the box, sparingly brushing some wax on and paying close attention to all of the edges and the joints that are on that ribbon and all the places that naturally distress over time. We're going to use the Super Glue Wood Glue from Dollar Tree to glue all our wood ribbon pieces onto the box so that they will look like ribbon. Once the glued ribbon dried, I knew my gift box needed some serious holiday spirit embellishment, so of course a big bow was going to be necessary. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but My superpower is that I make the worst bows. I'm not even lying, folks. It's a gift, I know, but I try to make the best of any situation, and I fashioned this super simple bow out of Dollar Tree burlap ribbon, and I cinched the middle with a piece of pipe cleaner, wrapped tightly, and glued some smaller ribbon around it to hide that pipe cleaner, and voila, we have this kind of sad ribbon. I also used this wired gold beaded trim from Dollar Tree, and I simply wrapped that around the box. And this is how the first of my 3 Jenga block holiday gift boxes turned out. Okay, horrendous ribbon notwithstanding, how adorably rustic is this gift box decor? The Christmas dinner tablescapes you could make with this would be fantastic. It's a really cute use of the good old tumbling tower blocks, and with a few floral pick pieces added in to style it, I think it's a winner. On Christmas gift box number 2, I painted the box part with that white chalk paint and water mixture to give it a nice whitewash effect with all of the wood grain still coming through. And for the wood ribbon pieces, I used antique wax for that nice rich brown wood grain look. And once the paint had dried, I used some more of that apple barrel khaki acrylic paint to distress my wood ribbon, and I distressed the box with some more antique wax and a rough dry brush. Then I attached the ribbon to the box the same way as with box number 1, using super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree. I had some of this paper raffia ribbon that I got on Amazon, and I will link it for you below. I unraveled it, and using my superpower bow skills, seriously, it's so bad that no one in my family will ever ask me to help them wrap a present. But anyway, I made another simple bow using the paper raffia, covered the middle pipe cleaner with some more raffia, and then I did my best to poof out that bow. And this is how my second Jenga block Christmas gift box turned out. Again, just some simple holiday floral picks to help style it, and I actually really love this holiday decor. I feel like this one is a little more farmhouse than rustic, but still has lots of rustic appeal. I'm totally picturing it on a mantle over some Christmas garland, and again, in my opinion, using some Dollar Tree tumbling tower blocks, we have another winner. Our third and final holiday gift box. For the box part, I used this folk art home decor chalk paint in the color sheepskin, and I will link that for you below. I used that to paint the box, and I also used that to give the wood ribbon trim a base coat. Once that ribbon trim base coat had dried, I then gave it 2 coats of apple barrel barn red, which is a dark kind of brownish red color, and that I allowed that to fully dry. Once all my pieces were dry, I sanded both the box and the trim, paying close attention to all the corners while sanding so that they could look the most distressed. Then I glued those wood ribbon pieces onto the box, the same as I did with both box number 1 and box number 2. To style this third box, I took some wired garland pieces from Dollar Tree and formed a mini wreath with them. And I took apart some holiday berry picks, also from Dollar Tree, and I hot glued them to the mini wreath for some color. I tied a loop around the wreath with some jute twine and made another lovely burlap bow and attached those with some leaves to the gift box. And this is how our third holiday gift box turned out. Of all 3 boxes, this one to me is the most Christmassy by far. It's got a little farmhouse flair, but I think it embodies the holiday spirit more than all the others, and it just makes me happy. Another winner as far as I'm concerned. And here are all 3 of my Jenga block holiday gift boxes. This is one of the only times that I can say that I love all 3 of these equally. I think they're charming, I think they're rustic, a little farmhouse, and just So warm and fuzzy holiday decor. I think the boxes with the other embellishments definitely complete the look, and I know for sure that I will be using them in a centerpiece for my holiday table. These would make stunning gifts this Christmas, or just add some warmth and holiday cheer to your home decor. These are simple and easy and endlessly customizable, and another great tumbling tower block DIY. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and why. I hope you enjoyed this Medicated Housewife DIY, and if you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It really helps out my channel. Once again, I really appreciate you watching, and a very big thank you to my subscribers. I'm so thankful you all take the time to watch, and I wish all of you and your families a very happy holiday season. Until next time, I'm the Medicated Housewife, and crafting is my medication.